These days, when everyone's so conscious about the environment and their carbon footprint, we talk about recycling. We recycle whatever we can, water bottles, soda cans, and all that. Why not? Have you ever thought about recycling yourself, perhaps, recycling your organs? And that's what organ and tissue donation and transplantation is all about. When we went to Hawaii recently, we got to discover this amazing story of Yolanda Domingo, a heart transplant recipient. And she actually, moving on to her story, she actually talks to us about meeting the mother of her donor. Yolanda Domingo is a recipient of a heart from Stephen, a young man who died in a tragic accident.
My donor is Stephen Mitsuo Ginoza. He's the youngest son of Frank and Jesse Ginoza. He was 28. They were at Ala Moana at the Mai Tai Bar. It's on the 3rd floor at the Ala Moana Shopping Center. And they were celebrating a volleyball game win. And on their way home, at probably about 2:30 in the morning, they were going down the escalator, and he decided to go on the railing, and he fell over. So I truly believe that his friends that were there gave him mouth-to-mouth, and that kept him alive until the ambulance came.
The new heart is the answer to her and her family's prayers ever since she was diagnosed with dilated cardiomyopathy in 1998. And in the year 2000, she got a heart transplant.
When I first woke up, it was like, wow. It was very painful. There was just so many things in my body they had to pull out, tubes and things. So I was getting over that. After that, yes, I wanted to meet. You know, I always wanted to meet his parents, his family. But it's not a decision that I could make. It was a decision that the donor family needs to make. So we waited, and we were able to write letters to each other. And so I wrote letters, and it was hard. It was hard to write letters. I wrote so many letters, and all it kept saying was thank you, thank you, thank you. And so I think I tried like 15 times to write a letter. So I finally wrote a letter. You can't put like last names. You can use first names. And so I told them how my life is now. And that's what I did. I told them about my family and what I'm doing now. And so I sent that, hoping that, you know, somebody would respond. And about 4 months later, somebody responded. And it was his mother. And she wrote back to me, and she just was telling me how her family and how Stephen was. And he was a civil engineer for the Board of Water Supply. He was their youngest son. And he loved holidays. He loved holidays, and he loved to make gifts for his friends. So the mom would call him a gift that keeps on giving. And it was funny because he didn't have organ donor on his driver's license. But because of his demeanor and the kind of person he was, they felt that that's what he would have done. And so they made that selfless decision to say yes.
As she goes around the nation speaking for Legacy of Life Hawaii, an organ and tissue donation and transplantation organization, Yolanda never fails to acknowledge the valuable gift of life she got from a donor she never met, except maybe in a dream.
I'm a mother of 3, and I have 7 grandkids, and Stephen was close to my oldest daughter's age. And for a long time, I couldn't accept why God would allow this boy to pass away so that I could live. So it was really hard. So I would cry myself to sleep for a few weeks, and I had a dream. I had a dream one night, and all I remember was this person grabbed my hands and told me, "It'll be fine. You know, don't worry, it'll be fine." And he brought me to this house, and it was like a Japanese house, and they had Japanese doors, and there was Japanese food on the table. And I woke up that morning, and I just felt really clear. My head wasn't so, my heart wasn't heavy. I just felt really, you know, I got a good night's sleep. And that was the same day that I was going to Legacy of Life to meet another recipient. So there's 4 of us alive today. Frank in California has his liver. Tony and Salita has his kidneys, and I have his heart. So I was going to see Tony, and he was going to give me a picture of the donor. So when I walked in his office, he had a picture on his desk, and I kept looking at the picture, and I said, you know, that picture looks so familiar. I've seen this person before. You know, I've seen this person before. And he just kind of looked at me. He goes, no, there's no way, because that's our donor. And so I only could see Stephen's face, his eyes in my dream. And so it was my donor. So he was in my dream.
And she has this to say to the 130,000 patients in the whole U.S. waiting for an organ or tissue donor.
Don't give up. You know, there's such a thing. There is hope. You know, there is hope, and you need to believe in that.
She also encourages donor families to say yes.
I wouldn't be standing here answering your questions. I would have been dead in 2 weeks. And so I would say that what you do and the decision that you make, it helps people like me. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have been able to see my grandkids get born or my son graduate from high school, and my kids get married. I wouldn't have been able to celebrate my wedding anniversary with my husband. So for that, I would say yes, because you're going to help someone, and your loved one is going to live in that person. And so for me, Stephen didn't die. Stephen lives in me. He beats in me. He allows me to wake up and take a breath.